According to a World Health Organization report, every 3 seconds, someone in the world develops this syndrome.
By 2050, it's estimated there will be 132 million who will have it.
Dementia. What is it? What are the symptoms? And who's at risk? Let's talk about it on
Everybody Knows.
Welcome to Season 2 of Everybody Knows. My name is Mike Kasem.
And I'm Catherine Robert, and today we're discussing dementia, which has featured in the media quite prominently in recent years.
Now, we have a lot to ask our experts, so let's welcome neurologist Dr Wee Chee Keong.
Come on out, Doc. We have tons
Nice to
of
meet you,
questions for you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Okay, what exactly is dementia?
Okay, lots of people think dementia is actually one disease. That's not true. Okay, dementia is a general term we use to describe a group of illnesses that causes one to slowly lose their cognitive abilities. So there are common subtypes. The most common one is Alzheimer's disease. That's what we doctors think is due to amyloid protein buildup in the brain, gradually causing plaques and damage to the brain cells. Eventually, when you lose enough brain cells, you lose your cognitive abilities. The next most common one is vascular dementia. And then you have Lewy body dementia. You have mixed dementia, where a few types are mixed together, most commonly vascular and Alzheimer's disease. Rarely, you also get frontotemporal dementia. So it's actually a general term used to describe a group of illnesses that cause one to lose their thinking abilities.
And are there a lot of people in Singapore with dementia?
The estimate by ACES, when I last checked it, is 1 in 10 above the age of 60 will have dementia.
Is
1
that
in 10?
That's roughly the global average.
It sounds scary because we have an aging population. Now, our two guests today have their stories of dementia to tell. Let's welcome them.
He's a media veteran and director for advocacy and communications at Dementia Singapore.
She is an actress, presenter, and as she puts it on her Instagram, a wizard. She's also an ambassador for Dementia Singapore.
Say hello to the magical Bernard Lim and Munah Bagharib.
Hey, the wizard!
I was always wondering why
Welcome to
wizard?
the show.
I love Harry Potter, that's
We love it. Now, Munah, I've known you a while, but the one thing I didn't know is that you are an ambassador for Dementia Singapore, and is that because of your mom?
Yeah, I actually got linked up with Dementia Singapore when my mom was first diagnosed because my brother and I, we went to them looking to learn more about the diagnosis, you know, what are the next steps. And then a year down, I think someone approached me and asked, you know, if I wanted to work with them and talk more about what dementia is, raise awareness. And I was like, yes.
Tell us the story about, you know, your mom.
My mother, she is living with frontotemporal dementia and it's been about 7 to 8 years now. At first thought, you know, it's just you forget things, got your name wrong. But for me, what was significant was that she completely forgot the name of something that we always had for breakfast. And that was quite alarming for me. And we went to a doctor and we got it checked and then she got diagnosed then.
Now, Bern, you are the communications person at Dementia. What do you hope to achieve?
Well, I run the advocacy and comms team in Dementia Singapore. So we do a lot of advocacy talks about what is dementia all about, just to spread the word about dementia so more people are aware. And also, we do a lot of outreach as well. So in terms of heartlands, we do have a very regular Ke Thai. And we also have a Dementia Singapore community app called Kara. So the main purpose of Kara is actually for you to help find missing person.
Do you have a lot of family history or just mom?
So we did look into it, but I think what the doctors have found that they can confirm that it's with her, but we can't confirm whether my grandparents had it.
Which brings me to my next question. So now if, say, Munah wants to do a bit of a test, would that be possible?
The frontotemporal dementia tends to have a genetic inheritance. We estimate about 15% perhaps is inherited in a familiar manner. But in those familiar cases, only about 40% we can find the genes. So even if you have a person with frontotemporal dementia, you make this clinical diagnosis, they may not have the gene that causes the disease. The problem is once I find they have this gene, and for example, it's an autosomal dominant gene, then you have a 50% chance of getting the gene from the parent. And if you have that, you may get the same disease.
So I've got my dad, my uncle, my dad's brother, and my mom's father all had dementia. My dad had Lewy bodies.
Okay.
Quite a few times I've taken a pot off a stove and left the stove on. I don't know if that's a sign or if that's a...
Like you, I have often misplaced things.
Yeah.
Doctors always lose their pens.
Wait,
So sporadic memory loss might be an early sign of dementia, but it's so common, it's not very specific. It's only when you notice a pattern of progressive memory loss that it becomes more significant.
Yeah,
let's
there might be a little bit.
talk about the different forms of dementia because there seems to be quite a few.
Yeah.
It's more worthwhile, I think, to talk about Alzheimer's disease, which is the most common.
Yeah.
Okay, Alzheimer's disease, as we understand it now, stems from the accumulation of abnormal proteins called amyloid plaques in the brain. This leads to toxicity in the brain cells, leading it to accumulate secondarily abnormal tau proteins in the neurons. As it progresses on, more of the neurons die. Whichever part of the neurons you lose functions in that area of the brain. And because of the way Alzheimer's disease tends to progress, it tends to be memory predominant. You tend to lose your short-term memory first.
Right. So is there anything that we can do to prevent, accumulation in the brain?
There are various genes that cause us to produce more amyloid, and there are various genes that cause us to excrete the amyloid at a slower rate. So if you produce more and excrete it at a slower rate, you tend to accumulate more of the protein, you tend to get more toxicity in the brain, you tend to get more Alzheimer's. So some people with the risk genes get it, some people don't. As to exactly what it is, we don't know. But what we do know is, in general, to keep in good brain health, stay active, right? A healthy body fits a healthy mind. If you have cardiovascular risk factors, like hypertension, diabetes, get those controlled, because if you have damage in the blood vessels supplying the brain, you get vascular damage.
Right.
That feeds Alzheimer's disease as well. These two may even work synergistically.
With Alzheimer's, are there specific symptoms you should look out for?
One of the more predominant features of Alzheimer's would be short-term memory loss. Other less recognized things would be like difficulty finding certain words, decreased lexical range.
On the slide here, you have all the different symptoms. So it's memory, language, judgment as well. So judgment, you're talking about ability to judge different things, is it?
Previously, grammar would be very sharp, but now, what if you lose money to a scam caller? So you lose your ability to discern things.
Okay, okay.
Right.
And also behavioral.
Previously, a very even-tempered person might become easily irritable. Someone who used to go out with friends, go for karaoke sessions, but suddenly just want to be alone.
I know I asked about Alzheimer's, but does this apply to the other forms of dementia as well?
So the other forms of dementia work differently. Like frontotemporal dementia, there are a few subtypes. Okay, you have the behavioral subtype where they start to behave inappropriately, right? Lacking social boundaries or norms, or have judgment errors. Then you have the language ones, the primary progressive aphasias, where they have word finding difficulty. Right? Sometimes their speech becomes non-fluent.
A friend of mine heard that we were doing a dementia episode, and his question was, does multilingualism delay dementia by 5 years? It's a very specific question, which I thought was like, wow.
Number, by 5 years.
Yeah, apparently that's what he was told. So I was like, multilingualism, 5 years, 我也可以讲华语.
What was his source? What was his source?
Okay, what we know is that a good education helps. Okay, it's the concept of building up your cognitive reserve.
Right.
And throughout your life, if you stay in a mentally engaging job.
My mother reads the papers every day, cover to cover.
Oh,
Wow.
So she's 87, 88, and she's still cognitively very, very sharp.
wow.
That's good.
What about vascular dementia? Because a lot of people are getting vascular dementia, which is caused by stroke.
Okay, so the most obvious one is if you get a stroke, okay, a blood vessel in the brain is blocked off. Cells that are supplied by this blood vessel die off. Okay, so you lose certain brain cells. In a stroke, you lose function, but what is less recognized is that you may have cognitive difficulties after that. But most of the time, you see a bit of judgment problems. It's a very mixed bag.
Wow, what an awesome topic we have here, guys. I hope you're really enjoying it. We're going to take a break to digest all of this. Still to come on the show, how to cut your risk of dementia, and the story of Daniel, a former Air Force pilot. We'll see you on Everybody Knows.
Welcome back to Everybody Knows. Now, we're discussing dementia today, which I think is timely given that we have an aging population and the risk of dementia increases with age.
And there are other risk factors, as this family realized. Let's find out their story.
Hi, my name is Daniel, and I'm 68 years old this year, and I've been living with dementia since 2 years ago.
Hi, I'm Darren Ho. I'm obviously Daniel Ho's son. I'm 32 this year, and I'm I would say, a secondary caregiver to my dad, as my mom is the primary.
A pilot with the Republic of Singapore Air Force for over 20 years, Daniel retired in 2003. When his wife Joanna was posted to the US, Daniel decided to accompany the family. The transition from Air Force pilot to stay-at-home dad and the difficult adjustment to new surroundings took an emotional toll on him.
Because he was already struggling, trying to find what to do next with his life. At the same time, he's completely isolated. He has no friends. When I would go to school, he'll just be at home, and then I'll come back and he'll still be at home. What we have learned is that when you're too isolated and you're not socializing enough, it will affect your brain in a certain way.
In 2014, the family returned to Singapore. Daniel's wife Joanna continued to work, shuttling between Africa and Singapore. Daniel remained largely reserved, and she began to get worried.
My mom and close family friends noticed that change in behavior in my dad. He would go out and just basic manners that he used to always do, like say thank you or please and stuff, he would just forget to do, and it would just seem rude. Or he would do things like a little inappropriate behavior, like fidgeting with silverware and stuff like that he never used to do. And then he would forget things like across the street at Sun Plaza, there's a Fair Price downstairs. I mean, we've been living here for about 8 to 9 years now, but one day he just totally forgot where it was. Sometimes he would act up. In the past, even though he's stubborn, when we talk, we're like, okay, we just kind of like, he's just being stubborn, we just ignore it. And then he'll just let it go, so it doesn't progress further than that. But now it's like he wasn't letting it go, and it ends up being an argument. And when my brother and I started to notice, because we are young adults, busy with our own lives, not too involved. When we started to notice changes, means that something has gone off, something's off. So that's when we really said, okay, maybe we go get tests and go see a doctor about what's going on.
So I did a lumbar puncture. It is 90% sure that there's no protein because Alzheimer's is due to this protein.
So the proteins were absent, so we knew it wasn't Alzheimer's. So the doctors said that most definitively it's frontotemporal dementia, yeah.
First thing is disbelief, but then actually, and thinking over, I think I should accept it and go with it first, because what's the point of not believing it, right?
Upon a doctor's recommendation, the family joined Voices for Hope, a program by Dementia Singapore that educates persons with dementia and their caregivers in living with the condition and empowers them to share their stories publicly.
I was working at the time, so I couldn't participate in all the sessions, but my mom went to all of them. So what she will learn there, she will educate me and my brother as well.
Then after that, we joined the alumni. Then, all the various courses, people come to this alumni and we share our story. We have, share as a support group. So it has grown to be quite large now. I think I'm from the cohort 12, and then now it's already 19, I think, or 18 or 19.
I was old enough when I was 9 to remember what it was like with my grandmother around, having dementia. Definitely without the education from Voices for Hope, I think we'll still be arguing and fighting and struggling just like how it was when my grandmother had it. Most important things are you need to learn how to communicate with them. Whenever they do act up and make it tough for you, you have to remember that it's not them, that it is dementia that's making them act that way, and it's not the person that you love. I think a very important lifestyle change once you do find out that you do have dementia is that you have to be proactively active in cognitive stimulation and make sure that these are in your agenda and often, because these are the activities that will keep your cognitive function going and preserve it. It is not an easy road ahead, but it's not an impossible one either. It's only going to end if you give up, so don't give up. You gotta accept that there is no cure for dementia, so enjoy every moment that that person is there and still with you in the capacity that they are.
Wow. I feel like I resonate so much with his story because it's exactly what his father said, right? At the moment of the diagnosis, you go through this disbelief almost. And I'm sure my mom went through it too because she used to be super sharp. She would brag that she's from RGS and top in school. And she had asked me too, like, why is this happening to me, right? But we came to a point where we were like, okay, we have to accept this. We have to kind of do things with her that keep her happy.
No, Munah, don't start.
We cannot start. I can't let cat.
How is your mom doing?
She's a really happy person. Like, she likes to laugh, she likes to joke. So, like, if she were here, she would be having a conversation with us.
No, I think Daniel, because I know the family from Dementia Singapore, so they're a very strong, tight family. So they all kind of support that, and that really makes a difference, as you can see from the video clip that Daniel was really upfront and was sharing about his challenges, and that's the reason why we also always advocate for people who are diagnosed with dementia to take on the Voices for Hope program, because it's our program of basically building the community of advocates. We kind of train the person living with dementia and caregiver to really go through with confidence, to talk and share their stories.
I find that, you know, when dementia knocked on our door and we really had no clue what direction to go to, Dementia Singapore was one that directed us and led us to these resources and this community. So, thank you.
You know, for people who want to go to Dementia Singapore, like, where do they start?
We obviously have a hotline number, but we also have the Kara app, as I said earlier. The 3 groups of people who join the app, obviously people living with dementia, the caregiver, and most importantly, are members of public. And the members of public are the ones who are going to help to find the missing person. So it's a very good, strong dementia community app, I feel.
Dr. Wee, are the onset symptoms the same in all the different forms of dementia?
Slightly different. So Alzheimer's is the one we know the best. Frontotemporal can be rather subtle because it's more behavioral issues sometimes. Lewy body tends to come on slightly differently. They have a bit of Parkinsonian features as well. Depending on the etiology, which is our term for depending on the underlying illness of the dementias, they all start in a different manner.
Doc, in the video earlier, he talked about social isolation. Now, my question is, what does social isolation do to the brain?
If you look at the Lancet Commission, where they look at the primary causes of dementia, they identified 14 big risk factors. Social isolation is one of them. Right, so social activity, engaging with people keeps the mind active.
Right.
To further add on to that, the Finnish people did a finger study where they did an intervention in people who are high risk of getting dementia. And what they intervened in was to give them a prescription on diet, exercise, cognitive games, and social interactions. And everything together added up to reduce the risk of them progressing into dementia.
A lot of us, you know, as we get older, we forget stuff. How do we tell if it's just part of normal aging?
When your cognitive ability declines below a certain range that is expected of your age period or age group, okay, that's when you start to think maybe this person has mild cognitive impairment, but they're still independent. All right, when you start to have problems in managing your own daily affairs, in your instrumental activities or daily living, that's when you call it early dementia.
I'm just hoping that, like, a lot of my short-term memory loss is I dated a girl for a couple months, broke up, saw her like 2 weeks later, and I couldn't introduce her to somebody.
Wow.
So I
Maybe
don't
she
know.
didn't make a big impact in your life.
But we'll get to that on another episode.
Anyway, we're off for a short break, and we'll be back with how to cut your risk of dementia, as well as a game, because you heard what Daniel's son said. You need cognitive stimulation, and that's what we're going to do. So see you in a bit.
Welcome back to Everybody Knows. This is a great learning experience on the topic of dementia so far.
Now, we've learned about dementia and how it looks like, and now I want to ask Dr. Wee, are there any viable treatments with the different forms of dementia?
Alzheimer's being the most common form of dementia, we have most treatments for Alzheimer's, okay? About monoclonal antibodies that aim to remove the amyloid deposits from the brain. Further on, we have cholinesterase inhibitors and memantine. These are things that aim to boost the chemical deficits in patients with Alzheimer's disease, because science has found that in people with this problem, certain brain circuits are lacking in chemicals like acetylcholine. So giving them these drugs help to boost the brain function and delay the onset of dementia.
And what are some of the things we can do or change to reduce the risk of dementia?
The things we should do is now, building our cognitive reserve, as you guys are doing, engaging in active lifestyle, talking to people, learning new stuff, that's one. But the other things we can do that are very good would be things to reduce our cardiovascular risk, getting our weight down. Don't do stuff that harms yourself, like smoking. Don't drink excessively. Avoid social isolation in later life. And if you have a hearing problem, get a hearing aid. Others have been shown to be major factors that lead to one developing dementia.
Thank you, Dr. Wee. Now we've got one more request. Since cognitive stimulation is important, we've got a memory game.
Oh, nice.
Are you guys
Let's
ready?
do it. Yeah. Shall we,
Okay.
Okay.
So we don't know what the questions are, because if we did, then this game wouldn't be fun. So let's get ready to play it. Bernard and I are going to be going against the girls.
Well, Munah, you heard that. We are not letting them win.
Nope.
Okay, contestants, here are the rules. Okay? You
Hey, he's
will
pretty
be
good.
shown a picture for 30 seconds.
Okay.
Memorize as many details as you can.
Okay.
After that, I'll ask you guys 5 questions, and the team with the most correct answer wins.
Okay.
Your time starts now.
Oh, wow, 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 wow.
There we go,
Okay.
there we go.
Okay.
Okay.
Super tree. Which one? The dome. Yes. Wait,
We should have parsed this out.
Yeah, we
You
should.
on the right, me on the left.
Yeah.
Okay, you remember the right half, I left half.
That does, yeah.
Okay, okay.
That looks like me with a beard.
Yep. There
3,
we go.
2,
Let's go.
1. Time's up.
Okay.
Question 1. Quiz for dementia. How many super trees are there?
5.
Ding ding! You got it correct. 1 point for the girls.
You hosted something at Super Tree, that's why.
What color was the T-shirt that the cyclist was wearing?
Blue.
He said it. Red. I said red. I did say it first.
But there's a question, not
It's not a definitive answer.
No, that's how I speak.
all the time.
I promise you, I said red before you said.
Okay, 1 all then.
All
One
right.
all. Oh, this is blind.
Question 3.
Okay.
How many dogs did
3.
spot?
3.
What? Sorry?
3
You say
dogs.
3?
3.
Three.
Bernard was
Yeah.
first. Fourth question. 2 joggers were wearing caps. Was the one wearing the yellow cap on the left or the right side of the picture?
Right.
Left side, left side, left side.
Left side, left side.
Right side?
Yes.
Left side?
Left side.
The jogger wearing the yellow cap is on the left side.
Oh, man. Okay, okay,
Left
okay.
side of the picture.
Oh, I see.
Okay,
Like
the score
stage
stands
left.
at 3-1.
3-1.
Fine.
Okay, for the final question. A man was pushing a stroller. What was the color of the stroller?
Blue.
Perfect. All right, thank you
All right,
guys.
good
Yes.
job, everybody. Dr. Wee, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Honestly, this was a fantastic wealth of information. We really appreciate you.
And thank you, of course, to Bern and
Thank you.
Munah
Thank
for
you.
sharing their stories. If you want to know more about the resources that Dementia Singapore has, log on to dementia.org.sg. I'm Catherine Roberts.
And I'm Mike Kasem. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching.
Everybody knows.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Oh, this is
Munah,